Alrighty, let's have a quick run through of the three pairs being USD CAD, AU, and GA. Alright, so I have been super busy. I don't think I have been that busy ever in my entire life. So thank you for being patient. Okay, we're gonna start today off with USD CAD. Now, it's a Monday, and like I always tell you, I don't trade Mondays because the volume is quite wonky. But I always make sure that I map, and I always make sure that I monitor and see how the price reacts to the zones. Alright, so if you were watching Mr. Cloud's videos, go do that. Even if you are not trading that day, or you know that you're waiting for a certain time session or a certain pair to move into the zones, make sure you map and monitor so you learn. You need that skill to be sharp, okay? So you see CAD, my voice, we have our sell zone up here, my buy zone down here, and the current. This is actually just kind of like a pit stop of over here. You can sell over here to the buyers over here, right? So if I were to, let's say, try to catch a trade on a Monday or in a Monday, from this area, then I will try to find any zones that I can, right? But because I can see that this is making a higher low, going up, there's a chance that if it continues like that, it will be to test this seller's zone. Alright, so that's what I'm going with because I can kind of explain that. Okay, so the midpoint over here, it's an engulfing buy. Price tested, created an engulfing buy, but this engulfing buy failed to close above. Meaning, if it was still going to go up into a buy, price can test our key level over here for a better buy up if the buyers come in at the right time to push it up. Okay, so what can you CAD do with this? What are we going to monitor during this US session, right? On a Monday specifically, if you do trade, always go for the US session because that's when the volume starts coming in. Okay, so you can either do this, right? If it still continues to respect our buy zone and the buyers are strong enough to keep it above here, then we can catch a bounce back up. But if it decides to close below our zone, then potentially it might want to test our buy zone down here, like this. Okay? After breaking the zone, price can either drop down into the next zone in one go or retrace back into the key level for a better sell down. Because this engulfing sell will then become, this engulfing buy zone will then become an engulfing failed zone once one of the H4 closes below. Okay, what can it do? What other things that can it do? It can also come up into our sell zone, which is an engulfing sell over here. If it respects it, then we can catch a sell back down. But if it breaks above, then it might want to test a higher area, just like that. Okay, once H4 comes into the zone and you want to try to catch an entry, switch down to M5 or M15, but always go with M15 first. Try to find a setup. If you cannot find any setups in M15, then you switch down to M5. You wait for the setups to form completely before pressing anything to lower your risk. Okay, next, AU, same thing. Let me just screenshot. Okay, current price is in our sell zone. Why is it a sell zone? An engulfing buy that failed. Over here, price came up, created this engulfing sell. Oh, it even created this first engulfing sell. So you had the first engulfing sell over here, and this was the second engulfing sell. Okay, so if the sellers are still strong enough, then it will keep pushing the price down. Okay, if the sellers are strong enough. Okay, so current price here. If H4 still respects our sell zone, then potentially we can catch a sell back down. But if it breaks above, then it might want to test a higher area. So make sure that you wait for the setups to form first in the lower time frames, okay? If the price decides to drop into our buy zone and respects it, then we can catch a bounce. But if it breaks below, then it might want to test a lower area. After entering, let's say you have entered in this zone for a sell. Make sure you count 40 pips for your SL. If you entered a buy in our key level for the buy, then drop it down 40 pips and that will be your SL. This gives a bit of space for the price to move before going in that direction that it needs to. Okay, but if it just touches your SL, doesn't matter if it still respects the zone or it continues in the opposite direction, stop trading, observe, look for the next opportunity instead. Do not press in the opposite direction right away, okay? Because that is revenge trading, all right? So that's AU. Last but not least, we have GA. Excuse me. Okay, GA, buy zone down below, sell zone up top. My sell zone is an engulfing buy that failed. Price came back. You can see a lot of wicks just playing around this area. Okay, so current H4 almost tapped into the key level, so I'm going to use the key level for a potential buy. But I don't trade Mondays, but if you do, you can monitor this. Okay, so what can GA do? Same thing. Oops. I will keep repeating it over and over. Excuse me. If H4 continues to respect it, then potentially we catch a sell back down. But if it breaks above, then I might want to test a higher area, vice versa. If it drops into our buy zone, bounce, closes within, then we find a buy. But if it closes below, you might want to test a lower area. Okay, so that's for the 3 pairs. Make sure you monitor for the US session. Don't rush. It's only a Monday. Okay, anything, it's a learning video for you guys. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.